in a quiet little house, nestled amongst blooming flower beds, lived a cat named Whiskers. He was a handsome ginger tabby with emerald green eyes and a tail that twitched with personality. But the most remarkable thing about Whiskers wasn't his looks, but his unwavering routine. Every single morning, as the first rays of sunlight painted the world in shades of gold, Whiskers would perch on the windowsill, his gaze fixed on the closed bedroom door. He knew the familiar sounds by heart, the gentle creak of the floorboards, the soft shuffle of slippers, and then the kind voice calling his name, his owner, a sweet elderly woman with a smile as warm as a summer's day, would emerge, and his world would be perfect. She'd scratch him behind the ears, just the way he liked, and fill his bowl with his favorite food. Their mornings were a quiet symphony of affection, a ritual of love that had defined Whiskers' entire life. But one morning, the symphony was silent. The sun rose, casting long shadows across the living room, but the bedroom door remained stubbornly shut. Whiskers waited, his tail giving a hopeful flick. He listened, his ears perked for the familiar shuffle, the gentle call. Nothing. The house was wrapped in an unfamiliar, heavy quiet, the comforting scent of his owner, usually a warm presence in the air, seemed to be fading. He hopped down from the windowsill and padded to her favorite armchair, the one with the faded floral print. He curled up in the indent her body had made, burying his nose in the soft fabric, inhaling the last traces of her familiar scent. He didn't understand where she'd gone, but his heart knew she was missing. He just waited, a small, furry ball of loyalty, believing that if he waited long enough, she would come back. Days blurred into one another. The house grew colder. Whiskers' bowl remained empty, but the hunger in his stomach was nothing compared to the emptiness in his heart. He spent his hours dozing in her chair, dreaming of her soft hands and gentle voice. The silence was his only companion, a constant reminder of the warmth that was gone. He was a faithful guardian of an empty house, a keeper of precious memories. Then, one afternoon, a key turned in the lock. The front door creaked open, and a young woman stepped inside. She looked around with sad, gentle eyes that reminded Whiskers of someone. She was the woman's granddaughter. Spotting Whiskers curled in the armchair, she let out a soft gasp. "Oh, Whiskers," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "You've been waiting for her, haven't you?" She approached slowly, extending a hand for him to sniff. Whiskers was cautious at first. This wasn't his person. But her scent was faintly familiar, and her touch was as gentle as the one he missed so dearly. She didn't try to move him. Instead, she sat on the floor beside the chair, simply sharing the quiet space with him. She spoke to him in soft tones, telling him stories about her grandmother, about how much she had loved him. Later that day, he heard the delightful rattle of food filling his bowl. He looked at the young woman, who gave him a small, encouraging smile. He ate, and as he did, he felt a flicker of warmth he thought he'd lost forever. That evening, as she sat in the armchair, she gently lifted Whiskers onto her lap. He hesitated for a moment, then he began to purr. It was a rusty, quiet sound at first, but it grew stronger, a rumbling engine of contentment. Whiskers had found a new morning ritual. Now he waited for the granddaughter's footsteps. He'd rub against her legs as she made coffee, and she'd scratch him behind the ears, just the way he liked. The house was no longer silent. It was filled with a new, gentle rhythm. The deep love he had for his first owner hadn't vanished. It had simply found a new heart to call home, a new hand to hold. Because real love never truly leaves us. It just changes shape, flowing from one soul to another, a timeless, comforting melody. Thank you so much for watching this story. If it touched your heart, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more stories like this one. We'll see you in the next video.